So you came to Las Vegas and you gave all your money to the casino.
So you're looking for something free to do.
Well, we're gonna show you guys the top free attractions in Las Vegas.
Yeah, come be lost with us today.
In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart.
This month we're celebrating all of those amazing people around the world who are helping others. And today we're going to be celebrating
JDRF, which stands for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. They are one of the first organizations that started research into type 1 diabetes and trying to find a cure. They also do a lot of work in local communities, providing insulin for those who don't have access, as well as insulin pumps and insulin pump supplies. So they're a pretty cool organization if you're looking for some way to get involved and help somebody who might actually have a disease like myself, type 1 diabetes.
So check out the links below. You can learn more about the organization, and there's also a link so you can donate right directly to that organization. So let's get back to that video.
So one of my favorite free, absolutely free things to do in Las Vegas is to go check out the Bellagio Conservancy.
Yeah, this is definitely a hidden gem inside the Bellagio. Right outside of it is like a multi-million-dollar art display too in the ceiling, so check that out while you're walking in there. But the Conservancy is amazing. It changes every season, but probably about every 3 months or so. They do a new overlay. So make sure to check on the calendar when you come because it could be closed during the time you're here. But if it's open, it is 100% worth the visit.
Yeah, so far this year we got to check out the summer and the fall decorations, and I'm really excited to see what the winter one looks like, but they have both completely blown me away because you see pictures of it and you're like, oh, it's probably not that cool, and then you get there and it's just this huge open space that smells amazing, looks amazing, and if you go at daytime or nighttime, you're gonna get two totally different experiences. They both have a way of making you feel bright and airy, or maybe like warm and cozy. Like it's amazing in there.
And something to note too, like she said, it changes over so much that if you've been to it in the past, it's still worth going again this time because it just makes such of a difference. Between just the summer and the fall one, just the dynamics of it are entirely different. One was open and airy. The other one was more like warm and cozy. I mean, there's just so much really cool stuff there, and everything, or I should say almost everything in there is actually like organic, so it's made from like flowers and things like that. So it's really neat to see, and their sort of philosophies behind some of the scenes that they put in there are really kind of cool to read about as well.
And I feel like too, the more time you spend in there, the more little details you start to notice. Like if you just go in there, run in, run out, you may miss some of the minor details, but if you really take a long look at it, you can see all the intricate flowers that were used to build certain things. You can see all the different hidden things within things there. And the deeper meaning, like Gary said, there's always like a deeper meaning to what you're actually looking at. And you can see how all of the displays kind of come together to whatever common theme that they're going for.
Yeah, and it's really cool that they build it from ceiling to floor too. So you've got to look at all of the space from the ceiling to the floor, and then like a 360 to really sort of feel and encompass that entire sort of scene that they're building there. And it really is a scene. Like in the fall one, basically it was like Water's journey from this mystical being all the way through all these other scenes. I mean, it's just so cool. And the sounds, they pump in cool music as well as like animal sounds or insect sounds. Yeah, it's just so
it's
cool.
Very tranquil, and it's just kind of like brings you kind of back and takes you out of the hustle and bustle of what Las Vegas is, and kind of centers you a little bit so that you can kind of just take a moment and just take it in. If you're somebody who likes to take in things.
It is totally a nice place to like relax and breathe. You don't get that hustle and bustle of like people aren't ringing the slot machines right by there because it's definitely some space between there. And you have just a nice tranquil place to just kind of stand around and absorb it.
Agreed. And there's also some really nice restaurants kind of wrapped around the edges of it as well. So if you're looking for a place to kind of come in the morning, take it in, you can go into the Conservancy observe everything and go have breakfast afterwards if you'd like.
And a legit tip for sure is if you sneak around where the breakfast is, there's this awesome chocolate fountain that you can see there in the Bellagio too. So there's some really cool stuff around it too.
Bonus tip.
Yeah, bonus tip for sure if you want to see that.
Yeah, it's this crazy ceiling to floor chocolate fountain that's literally right around the corner in the confectionery right behind the Conservancy. So a couple really cool things to do. And just the Bellagio in general just has a lot of really fun things to check out. But this is definitely one of our favorite things.
And it's free. So what's number 2?
Number 2.
Number 2. So another really cool place staying in the same area are the fountains at the Bellagio.
Yeah, so they have a fountain show essentially every hour on weekdays and every half hour on weekends. So you definitely want to check out the schedule to see what time the shows actually start. But they run them from about like midday all the way up until the evening.
One of the cool things is if you think about Vegas, every Vegas clip you've ever seen, every movie piece that shows Vegas in it, this is one of the things that they always show is those fountains. And they shoot up like at least 20 to 30 feet in the air. The music is really cool. It's all timed to the music. It is a really, really cool experience. And it is directly off the strip, right across the way from the Paris Hotel.
Yeah, so at night it does get a little bit busy at night and there is some crowding that can happen. So if you look at the schedule and you time it right, you can definitely get kind of the perfect spot before everybody starts to crowd in. But I can honestly tell you from just about anywhere, you're gonna have a great view of it. Even across the street at Mon Ami Gabi, which we talked about in one of our other videos.
Yeah, definitely a legit tip. Show up a little bit early so that you can get closer to those rails. But even if you can't, there are some higher up places like Mon Ami Gabi is one, and there's a couple bars and restaurants too that look directly out of it. Even in the Bellagio, there's a couple of ones that look directly out on it too. So there are some different opportunities there to be able to see it from different angles.
Yeah, and different hotel rooms too. When our friends stayed at Caesar Palace, we were able to see the fountains from their windows in their room. So.
And again, they are absolutely free, which is very rare in a city that's built on gambling.
Agreed. And every show is a different song. So again, you'll want to check the schedule and see maybe it's a song that you like, maybe it's not a song that you like. They do a lot of 50s, 60s. There's some Celine Dion in there. There's some Elton John. So there's a lot of variety in terms of songs. The shows last anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, just depending on how long that song is. And again, like I said, if it's the weekend and it's the evening, they're gonna run those shows about every half hour.
So it gives you plenty of opportunities. If you miss it, you can just head back around in like 30 minutes or so and you're gonna see another one, which is really nice. But if you're driving, make sure you're paying attention because some people, when they drive and they see the fountains go off for the first time you're looking, just park your car, come back and look at it. Again, it happens all the time, but it is a free show and it is really, really worth it because honestly, in the hotter months, one of the things that people I think don't really realize about Vegas is when it's in those hotter months, being by that water is at least 10 to 15 degrees cooler. So it has some shade there as well. So if you're really hot and you don't feel like you can make it inside, you can always stop there for a nice little cool, refreshing show.
Agreed. I
Agreed?
agree.
She agreed.
I agreed. I've been in the South for too long. But no, totally agree. And it's definitely one of those spots that's easy to get to. It's really not hard to get to. You can pretty much walk there from any of the casinos on the strip. And when you're done watching the fountains, go inside and check out the Conservancy or vice versa.
Yeah. So what do you think number 3 is going to be?
I don't know. What is number 3? So this next spot it's not on the strip. It's
Yeah.
a little bit outside of the strip.
Yeah, you're definitely looking at about a 20-minute or so, 20 to 30-minute drive towards California to get to this hidden gem in Las Vegas.
But it's pretty cool because it's like it's this art project that basically was started, and essentially they took these giant rocks, stacked them up on top of each other, and they're all painted like these funky colors, and it's literally in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, it's 7 Magic Mountains is the name of the attraction, and it is free. So when you get out there, you basically park on this dirt road. Well, I mean, it's a dirt parking lot off of a road, and then you have a little dirt trail that you walk back to see these rock formations.
Yeah, and if you aren't looking for it, you'll definitely miss it, and you'll have to follow the signs to get to it, and make sure you type it into your GPS as well, because again, we've driven this road to California, and it's not something that you're going to necessarily see from the main road. You do have to take a side road for a little bit out to get to this place, but it is just this crazy art project in the middle of nowhere.
And they're basically stones stacked on each other. They're all painted different colors. And there's a good probably like 10 to 20 feet between them, so you can walk in between all of them and sort of take it all in.
Now, legit tip though, if you go in the summer, it's gonna be hot. So we don't recommend you go in the summer because there's literally nowhere for you to get shade.
Nope.
2, it can be windy there. The day we went, it was very, very windy. And like most things in Vegas, it gets windy here. So you may get sand in your face. If it gets windy enough, it could pick up enough dust and you could have a dust storm. So just be aware that the weather out there, because you're literally out in the elements, it could be a little bit hairy.
Yeah, but it is worth a trip if you definitely want to get a little bit back to nature. You want to see some interesting sort of art projects. This is definitely a possibility. I don't think we'd really recommend it if you have to take an Uber or a Lyft out there. It will probably be fairly expensive. But if you do have a rental car, or if you're a local and drove here, this is definitely a place you want to check out.
It can get a little busy, so we really do suggest that you come out earlier in the day or maybe later towards the evening during the golden hour. Because this place definitely, we were probably like the first few people here initially when we got here. And by like the end of the first hour, it tripled with the amount of people that had filtered in.
And you need to think too, from a cost benefit side of it too, it's a decent long trip. It's about 20-30 minutes off the strip, like we've said earlier. And it will probably take you, if you walk really slow, you could probably spend about 30 minutes there. But most of the time it's about 10 to 15 minutes to see the rock displays.
Yeah, and we spent more time because we decided to fly the drone around a little bit. It's definitely a cool spot if you've got a drone to fly it, because there's not a whole lot of spots in Las Vegas you can fly a drone. So
especially off the strip, you're not allowed to fly it at all.
So if you have a drone and you're looking for a cool place to fly it around, 7 Magic Mountains is probably the place that you should go.
Yeah, so that's number 3. Let's get to number 4. Number 4 is the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so this place is free to get into, and it has so many things to look at in here. They recently moved to their new location, which is this giant warehouse just down the road from Mandalay Bay. So if you're driving out towards the Las Vegas sign, it's going to be before you hit the Las Vegas sign, but just after the Mandalay Bay. So you're just right off the strip right there.
Yeah, it backs up right to the airport. It is a really cool warehouse with a ton, and I mean a ton, of pinball machines. They have a decent amount of arcade machines as well. And then they have some like custom machines that are like, like they make wax figures and stuff like that, or like love machines and stuff like that. So it is a really, really cool historical journey through gaming.
Yeah, so even if you don't play any of the pinballs, you could probably spend a good hour in there just walking around, watching other people play, or just checking out maybe a pinball game that you played back in the day, or maybe you might even find an arcade game that you played back in the day, which is really cool. They also have technicians in there that are repairing pinball machines for other people and collectors. It is a rotating collection because they have a number of people that like donate to the museum, and it kind of rotates through, so you never know what you're gonna see.
I don't think they donate. I think they loan them to the museum on like a temporary basis. One of the cool things, well, first let's hit a couple pieces. You will actually need money to play. So if you go there and want to actually play any of them, they do take quarters, but they will exchange dollars for quarters there or whatever. So that getting quarters isn't a problem, but you just need to know ahead of time that part's not free. If you just want to walk around, that is free. And another thing that's cool, like Nacy talked about, is they'll have have them in pieces because they'll be repairing them. So you'll get to actually see like the innards and stuff of pinball machines, which is pretty rare to see, and some of them are like really classic games. Like they have like simple games called like Buccaneer and stuff from probably like the 1920s, 1930s. But then they also have like the Simpsons arcade game, which is a classic if you've ever played that, and like the Ninja Turtles arcade game. So they definitely have some really cool pieces that span basically the beginning of pinball and arcades to some of the more recent stuff, but not super new stuff.
And for the most part, majority of the pinballs, if you are looking to play, are about 50 cents, give or take.
And the really old ones are still like a quarter. So you definitely could just get, you know, $5 or $6 worth and get some good plays out of it and spend about an hour or so there just kind of enjoying some of the games. And people don't tend to mind you watching them play either. So if you see somebody on a machine that you just want to watch, nobody tends to mind that you're just like hanging out watching them hit the cool little things that pop up.
Yeah, but again, it's free to get in there. There's no admission charge, and you can just walk around and just look at all of the different machines because they have hundreds of machines.
Hundreds. And when we talk about a warehouse, you're thinking like probably not that big. I'm talking about like a huge warehouse. They probably have at least 5 rows that probably have about 100 or so machines on each row. So they have a crazy amount of machines.
They even had air hockey in there.
Yeah, and one of the cool things, if you're a Disney fan, they actually make like a Disney wax figure. It was Pluto, and we've seen Donald there. So there's definitely some really cool sort of knickknacks too that you can pick up while you're there.
And they do have merchandise too. If you want to buy yourself a shirt that said you went to the Pinball Hall of Fame, they have that as well. But it's something really close to the Strip. It's free to do, to go in and walk around. And it's really cheap if you're looking to just do something kind of on the cheaper side if you really want to play. Yeah,
for sure. And a bonus too while you're there, there's another free Vegas thing. You can go to the Vegas sign right outside of it too. So it could be a bonus too while you're there if you want to check out that Vegas sign.
Agreed.
So we've got one more free attraction that's a little bit off the Strip that we'll tell you about in just a second.
One of our last free attractions isn't on the Strip.
Yeah, the park system in Las Vegas is pretty spectacular. It has some really amazing parks, and one of the things that I think isn't talked about enough about Vegas is the views around actual Vegas that are just so gorgeous and beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many parks. There's over 200 parks in just the city of Las Vegas alone.
Yeah, and they're not like small parks that you see in some southeastern towns and stuff like that, where it's just kind of like a piece of land that they didn't have anything to do with. These are like massive sports complexes, meets tons of green spaces. You want to check out our Back to Nature playlist to see some of the ones that we've been to. I think that one of the coolest ones to go to though is out by Boulder City, which is about a 45-minute drive from the Strip.
Yeah, so if you have your own car or you know somebody local who's willing to take you out here, it is 100% worth the drive.
Yes.
You're going to want to get up early. That is legit tip number 1.
Legit tip.
You want to make sure you're there sometime before 7 a.m.
Legit tip.
And what happens at this park is absolutely spectacular. And it's something I don't think you're going to find anywhere else.
Yeah, this is definitely one-off experience now. Nevada's state animal is the bighorn
ram, yeah. Sheep
ram.
Horned
I think
sheep.
it's a sheep. It's horned sheep. And they are there in numbers, and it is spectacular.
So when we first heard about this park, we were like, okay, cool. Maybe we'll see 1 or 2 like up on the hill. We were not expecting the experience that we had at all. And you know, we got there, we got our camera set up, we're just kind of moseying around, like there's nothing going on in the park. And then all of a sudden we hear, bam, bam. And we look around and sure enough, there they are, like up towards the top of the hill fighting. All right, cool. So we're just kind of sitting back, taking it all in. And then they just start to descend off of the mountain onto the green space. Before we knew it, they were next to us. Literally, like next to us. And they were just doing their own thing. And as long as you don't bother them, they're not going to bother you. And it was probably the most coolest back to nature moment I've had living here.
Yeah, I mean, they are literally like you could reach out and touch them.
Yeah.
They're that close to you. They don't care as long as you don't mess with them or move too fast. They're just like, whatever, you're there, I'm eating my grass. And they just go to town on the grass and start eating it.
And you can just hear them munching.
And there's like 10 to 15 in most of the sort of, I don't know what they're called, pods or whatever they're sort of called. And they just come on down the hill and they're just there. And they're there for a few hours.
Yeah. And they probably would have been there longer for us, except some random lady showed up and shooed most of them away.
Because she wanted to go to the bathroom and they were too close to the door for her liking. So she shooed them off. But they would just stayed, and more were actually coming when we left. So it was this like super awesome experience. And again, we can't state this enough, and video doesn't do it justice. You can get so close to them just because they're just chilling and walking down. If you sat on one of the benches that are there, they'll literally just walk right past you, won't even pay you any mind, and just walk right past you.
Which
Super
is
cool.
so surreal. And it was just so calming and so tranquil for like majority of the morning. I think we spent at least 2 or 3 hours with these guys.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the really sort of interesting pieces about it is you get to see them fight too. They don't fight too much in the grass area, but once they get back on the hills and stuff, they'll actually do their little sparring contest, which, as Nacy said, like it cracks and it just echoes and echoes and echoes. It was so amazing.
Agreed. And bonus tip too, if you're already out in Boulder City, you might as well just go a little bit further down the road, go park in one of the free parking lots and go check out the Hoover Dam, because it technically is free to go to the Hoover Dam.
If you park in the free parking lots.
If you park in the free parking lots.
Yes, that's a legit tip as well. Something too is when we talk about the parks too, if you don't want to go all the way out to Boulder City and you just check out the Las Vegas parks, there's skate parks, there's tons of green spaces, there's tons of tennis courts, basketball courts. Definitely check our Las Vegas Natural Parks videos because we sort of detail some of them, especially like the close ones to the Strip, like Siegfried and Roy and some of the other ones. So there's some green spaces that are even closer to the Strip if you just want to feel yourself on some grass, because one thing you'll know when you come to Vegas is there's very little grass here. It's pretty much brown.
But if you guys want to check out our full experience at Hemingway Park, which is the park that the Rams are at, make sure you guys check out that video, because again, it was just a surreal moment, and I can't wait till we go back one morning and just kind of hang out with them again.
And it is totally worth a watch.
So those were our top free things to do in Las Vegas. Now, we did kind of go over what we said we were going to give you guys. We gave you a lot of bonuses in there. But that just goes to tell you that there's so much to do in Las Vegas that doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, so if you're hesitant to come to Las Vegas because you think it's all about the gambling, there is so much more to Vegas than just the gambling. And so definitely make sure to subscribe to this channel, because we're checking out a lot of the different things that are all around this beautiful city.
So make sure you guys like this video.
Hit that subscribe button.
And ring that notification bell when we do 3 videos a week.
At least 3 videos a week.
So we'll come get you in the next one.
Yeah, and since it's a legit holiday, we'll get to see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Ain't that the truth, baby Ruth?
Bye everybody.
Y'all. Don't forget to check below for those organization links that we're highlighting each day this month of our legit holiday. It's got the donation link and to find out more information. So don't forget to like this video.
Hit that subscribe button.
And ring the notification bell so you get notified when we do at least 3 videos a week.
And we'll come get you guys in the next one.
Ain't that the truth, baby Ruth?